Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share, and play. So, I'm here because gorgeous Lynn QV over at the YouTube channel Playing with Paper and Glue. Now, Lynn has a Facebook group Playing with Paper and Glue, and I'm very blessed to be able to help her a little bit in doing some of the admin there, and which means basically we get to play creatively together. But she's come up with this fabulous challenge, and that is where we choose 6. So we choose 2 from each column, and then we make something using those prompts. So you can choose your own, or you can be guided by what Lynn's done. I thought I'd just, cut out the work of having to choose and do what Lynn came up with. So chipboard and wood, nail polish and pinking shears, doodles and gears. So I felt, well, that's quite a challenge, and we've got a hashtag so that way everybody can find it. So you can do it in the Facebook group, just share your photos there. You can share it on Instagram, you can do your own video on YouTube, and if you use that hashtag, people will be able to find easily what everybody's done. And I'd love everybody to have a go, and if you feel you can only fit in a couple of the prompts or you want to use all of them, that's fantastic. Free and easy for you just to have some fun, and it's really, really fun. I think the most fun is seeing how everybody else interprets it. We can all have exactly the same prompts and do something completely different, and if you choose your own, I'd love to see that too. So just remember to use that hashtag, and I'll make sure I put it on screen, and it's all one word, and then when you click on that it becomes a hot link, and then you can see everybody else's in whatever format, so whether it's Instagram, YouTube, whatever. All right, so here I go. I've come up with a little book, and I've got a bit of wood for the back. This is some wood book board that I got. It's, actual wood. How many times can I say that word in the one sentence? And then I've got some actual book board, which is my chipboard. So that's the first 2. I have some nail polish, and honestly, I have no idea how I'm going to use this yet. So we'll see if I manage to get it in. I may fail at the first challenge. Not that there's any failing. Pinking shears, well, I've got those, and I know I'll be able to cut something with pinking shears. Doodling, that's fine, I'm all over that. That I'm pretty comfortable with. And I have some little gears. Now, you know what the funny thing is? I was thinking it also said pink, but it doesn't. So I wasn't restricted to a colour, but I chose some pink paper. But you know what? Let's just go with it. So I'm going to put this up here so I can remind myself as I go along. And as you can see, my memory's not good because I already mucked up at the first go. Now, first thing I want to show everyone is I've already cut these to size. I thought just a little pocket book with just a bit of sketch paper and regular paper in between. And my plan is to cut this in half and to do 2 signatures into it. Now, I want to show you grain of paper. When you're constructing a book, I'm not an expert. I've just learnt these sorts of things from other people. So it's what I've picked up with little other YouTubes and little classes and things I've done along the way. Other people's wisdom teaches us a lot. It's how we used to learn in the old days, right? So, and I can already see I've cut that not quite square, but I'm not going to fuss. So even your book board, I've already done the grain on this. When I draw arrows, because I'm generally going to cover them, there's one way that it bends more easily. So the way that it bends more easily is actually this way. And that's why if I fold the pages that way, they will actually sit more aligned, and your covers will stay more aligned. So, oh no, that is the grain, because that is harder to fold. Your covers stay more aligned if you do it that way. So, and I want to put you around that way. And so you'll find that your covers won't tend to slide quite as much. They'll sit more even because that's the way the paper wants to fold and wants to sit. I'm just doing 2 easy signatures. So the first thing I want to do is cut my paper. Come on, there we go. If I get you into the corner, so I'm just using my mat, the grid lines that I've got on my mat here, to square up my page. I just want to cut them just shy of, so I know that's just at the bottom of screen there, but see, I'm just cutting them just shy. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm just cutting the pages to the height And lots of little light strokes. So when you are cutting your actual book board, lots of light strokes, you know, with some pressure, but you'll find that you'll get a much more even cut if you do lots of light strokes as opposed to one big stroke. And as you can see, I've just torn these out of some sketch pads that I had because I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of sketch paper in this particular project. Now, I would like this to be the same height. And so let's take you away, just use one as a guide. There's also a way that you'll generally be more comfortable cutting. So I find drawing the knife towards me, I know that sounds really unsafe, but I find that I get more control going this way, but my body is to the left of where the knife exits here. So I know you can't see that on camera, but it's not as unsafe as what it looks. All right, so these are all now the same height, which is lovely. And now, both the same way. Now what I want to see is what this is at half. So corner to corner, make sure you get it really nicely done in half. And do want to use my bone folder to fold that crease. I'm just checking if it's too wide, and I think that is. I'd like it to sit inside the book. So I'm just going to snip a teeny bit off the edge, and then I'll use this as a cutting guide for all of those. So if I line you up to make sure I do a straight cut again. Will that be too much? No, I don't think so. I think if I just go to the other side of that line, it will be good. Yep. Right, I'm happy with that. Let's see. There we go. So traditionally the way that you do this is you make your book block first, and then you cut these pieces to your actual book and you're measuring it. So I will do the spine after, but that's how you get a beautiful fit on your cover. However, I'm doing it this way because I actually had these offcuts. So I had to cut this one down slightly, but that's why I've done them this way. So I'm going to have the heavier one on the back and the lighter chipboard on the top. All right, and then I unfold you. Hoping this works. I'm not quite sure. Let's see how those edges sit. Yeah, they seem fine. This is just a little exercise. Okay, this time let's just do all these together and see how that works. Down we go. Lots of little cuts, and then you'll get through. Now, I may speed up some of this video because it'll take a little bit longer to do the whole book and do some of the measuring. However, yep, you heard it here first, measuring, well, sort of. So I do apologise. I know that that's not always easy to watch, but I also don't want you to have to sit here all day. So, okay, now all I'm doing is I'm folding these pages. Put my knife away so I don't hurt myself. So these really hot, bright pink pages, they're actually they're not cardstock, but they are a heavier weight paper. So they've got some thickness to them, so still quite nice to feel and use, which is lovely. Now when I'm folding in half, I try and fold from the middle out. I find that that tends to work better. There we go. And then I'll put these together into two separate signatures once I've gone through. And I am folding these individually because of how I've cut them. But sometimes you can fold more than one sheet together and then just square the edges off, or you might like, because you get a little bit of slip, or you might like that look on the edge, so that's fine and lovely too. So being a person that likes putting together little books and using all different papers. I quite like uneven edges sometimes and little things like that. So now, nice and square. And so yes, you get that edge. So once I sew that, all I'll do is I'll run my knife down and you'll get a nice clean edge on that. If I feel like it, otherwise I might sometimes it's nice to see the waterfall of colours going through. So there we go, that's those. Now I'm just going to roughly measure and then decorate the front to finish the challenge. So I'm thinking a little piece of this as the spine, and then hopefully that'll still give me enough. Yes, it will. So I'm just talking out loud, it's all good. What I'm doing is I'm measuring. I want it to have a little bit of breathing room because that helps. Okie dokie. Yes, it is. Okay, so I've done my rough measurement there, and you'll see how I cut through the bookboard here. So this is just cutting my spine piece. There we go. And again, you want the grain to be parallel to the spine, so the way that it folds easy. I just happen to know that this one is that. So just a few little cuts will get you through, and you'll feel it once you're through. Yes, I can feel that I'm on the mat there. Yes, good. And now I'll just cut across the bottom. There we go. Yep, there we go. Now have I got it the right height? Yes, close enough for taxpayers. I'll take away my text block. I'm thinking roughly 1, 2, 3, then put you in, and then 1, 2, 3, and that should be good. So let me just mark it. So 1, 2, 3, that's to there. And then you do want just a bit of space between. And these are a good guide. Generally 1.5. So if you just tease that out a little bit, I could probably get away with doing it exactly there. So I get 1, 2, 3, and then that'll be my spine that'll come over, which is nice. And then it'll be there and there. So I'll cut first. Okay, and just across. And done. All right. I'm just going to mark. So I'm just centering this roughly, top and bottom. And then I'm going to use my grid again, my cutting mat, and I'm going to just check that they work. Yes, so this might be a little bit too much, but we'll work with it. We'll see how we go. I'm just going to use my PVA glue, and I actually want it into the board. This will work. That's better. That's how I like it to be. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to add the glue to the edge here too, but not really as much. I just want to make sure that this glues out to the edge, is what I'm doing there. Alrighty. Okay, so I've just weighted that briefly. I had a big book on one side, just a big heavy, very heavy dictionary. And on the other side, just a brick that I've covered in paper so it doesn't scratch up anything that it's on. That should have really sat in there nicely. And let's just make sure that it will fold, and it will. This is just a little quick project seeing how I go. Anyway, on the inside, I am just going to do some cloth tape, and that's all I'm going to do on the inside. So I want to attach that to the spine first. I'm actually going to use my knife here. This will be covered up so it doesn't have to be fully. That's it, gotcha. Right, but what you want to do is you want it to actually get in between there. So use your bone folder or your thumb to really stick it down into that crease, and that will help your whole book stay together, which is wonderful because that's what you want to happen. Okay, and there we go. Now I'm going to cut my end papers now because that is definitely easier to do at this point. So let's go down there and just have you like that. There we go. I want them just shy of the edge. And I only need single sheets on each side, so that makes it easy. That's a bit wide, so I'll just cut you down a little bit more, I think on the lighter edge, because I thought that the end papers would be nice if they match the spine. That looks good, so now I just need the height. I'm going to totally cheat, and I can cut both together, and I know that they'll be the same size. And yes, don't wave your knife around like I'm doing, it's very dangerous. Put it away so I don't hurt myself anymore. You really want to make sure that the glue goes to the edge on this, because obviously you don't want the edge to come up. But I'll use that dabbing technique again. I just feel like that gets into the grain of the paper. You know, all paper, even smooth paper, has a slight grain. It gives it a little bit more, I don't know, surface tension or something maybe. Okay. And so first one. Oh, do you know what I forgot? This was the bit that I was going to do the serrated pinking shears edge. That's all right. I'll have to do something else now, won't I? Okay, and now I can glue down these little top bits on the spine, and that's my cover put together. So they're wonderful little pegs and clips. Doing that will just help the glue set while it holds. Normally I'd say put that down overnight, but I'm going to go straight on to decorating this. Just putting gesso over this, and so maybe just like that. I think that'll work. Okay, now that this is dry, I'm just going to do the doodle part. I'm just going to not do anything magical or complex. I'm just going to draw around the border to give it a bit of a handmade feel. Whoops. Okay, I probably should have moved the mat. Let's do that. As you can see, I got it all over myself. Very clever. It takes a great deal of skill to get that accurately put down like that. That's why I've always got baby wipes nearby. All right, now I'm thinking actually that would just look nice there. This is my stronger glue. Yep, that's you down. I want something else on the front here, so what am I going to do? Pinking shears was one of the other things, wasn't it? So what I might do is do a bit more decorating on the cover. Snip you down. Thinking possibly, you know, like a little bit of a collage edge to this. Yep, I'm happy with those, so I'll stick those down. Use my PVA since it's going onto the board. I'll just slip that in there. I just like how it's just touching that cog, or that gear. That's what I'm calling my gear. And then I'm putting you down. Just going to use my bone folder to just get you down on the edge. There we go, that's good. Just going to use the Sharpie on the very edge as well. Oh, and actually now looking at this, and if I don't like it, I can always just gesso over it. I just thought that might be kind of cool. just some lines. That's all I'm going to doodle. It's just some lines. Keep it simple. Don't get myself too complicated, too wrapped around the axles about it. It's lovely, the roughness of the board behind it. It just feels nice. And it gives that, I love how it gives that pen, doesn't give a solid line there. I think that's fabulous. Quite a bit of fun now. I'm just going to add more lines as I go. Might put some of you down. Just to give it a little bit of texture and contrast. Why not? There we go. A little bit of you down there. That's nice with the little diagonals. Now, had this challenge not wanted me to do some doodling, I wouldn't have done this. And I was thinking of just copying out and doodling on the edges of my pages like I often do, but I'm kind of glad I didn't now, because it's meant that I would never normally do this, and it's given me another little idea. I could actually do some botanical drawings or things like that on the front of books. Like, why not? Why not? And it's lovely doing it straight on the cover. My desk just gets messier and messier as I go. There's the book. So as you can see, it's got a nice bit of give that will happily sit under wets. And the last thing I need to do is the nail polish. I'm going to do something a bit funny and go around the edges. There we go. That's quite cool because that will seal the edge beautifully. Probably should have done this before I put the text block in, but that's fine. I'll just be really, really, really careful, I promise. I know I haven't been very careful up until now, but we'll give it a go of being careful. You know, there's always a first time. That's really nice. I like how that's going to just seal in that edge. This is something I might try again. And again, I would never have thought of it was I not doing a challenge. All right, so I will obviously let that dry. That is my little PPG for playing with paper and glue, and the challenge was chipboard. So this is my chipboard. Wood, that's my wood. Nail polish, as you can see, I just did the edges in the nail polish. Pinking shears, so I did that on the front. Doodling, I've just doodled a bit on the cover, and gears, and I've done those gears. So there you go, there's a little completed book, and with its little pages inside, all nicely secure and put in. Hope you enjoyed. All done.
You can like and subscribe below, and as always, keep creating. See you next time. Bye.